Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we've got some pretty cool news, and that is that Andy Serkis has now been confirmed to be playing Alfred Pennyworth for the upcoming Matt Reeves directed Batman film. This is actually incredibly exciting news for me because I'm a huge fan of Andy Serkis. For those that maybe don't recognize him as a personality, he has done a lot of motion capture work, including doing great performances for that of Gollum from the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit film, and also for the more recent Rise of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the Caesar trilogy, really, playing the titular Caesar. And seriously, this guy has so many talented bones in his body, and it's really sad that he's not being given the recognition in Hollywood because most of his work has been working in motion capture and not in front of the screen. But now he's got a chance to work in a film that seems to me to be taking itself pretty seriously when you look to the fact that it has people like Robert Pattinson involved, Paul Dano involved, Jeffrey Wright. Those are all very talented actors. You know, the one exception to that, of course, would be Zoe Kravitz, who I think probably has some potential. I've heard that for the TV show that she's currently doing right now, she actually did some pretty good performances in there. But everything that I've seen her in up to this point, especially in the movies, she's not really had anything really dynamic to her characterizations. But obviously, I'm willing to be proved wrong on that one. And Jeffrey Wright, we all know, he's a very political guy, and I know a lot of people have issues with that casting because of how political he is, and also, of course, because of the nature of his casting when you looked at the traditional look of what, for him, what Commissioner Gordon tends to look like. I'm slightly more okay with it only because Jeffrey Wright is a very talented actor, and I really like his work, especially his work in works like Westworld, for example, and a lot of the other things he's done. I just think he's very talented. Of course, the most exciting casting choice up to this point, other than Andy Serkis, for me at the very least, has been Paul freaking Dano. Paul freaking Dano being confirmed to be the Riddler, to me, is just awesome. That dude can act he can outact anyone in this cast right now, and that's including Robert Pattinson. That's including, in my opinion, even Andy Serkis. That's how much I appreciate Paul Dano and the work that he's done. If you've not seen any of his work, please do yourself a favor and watch films like Prisoners. Watch films where he has watch a leading role performance of him in Ruby Sparks, because this dude is just so damn talented. But Andy Serkis is as well, and so this actually has me very excited, even more excited than I was before for it. And so this was indeed confirmed by Matt Reeves himself on Twitter, where he says, "And here comes Alfred," and it was a GIF video of Andy Serkis at a red carpet event, running up and down, doing high fives to everyone there. If that doesn't kind of sell you on this dude, I don't know what his politics are. I don't really care what his politics are at this point, because he seems to be a lot more focused on just doing great film, producing, and just really putting out some great work. He also has taken his hand at directing as well, and everything he's directed up to this point has actually been pretty solid for the most part, and so I've actually been quite happy with that. He also did the voice. He did the motion capture and voice for for Supreme Leader Snoke, which is a role that I wish would have been a little bit bigger for him, because he deserves it. But of course, Rian Johnson came in and said, "No, we're just going to do my own thing now." And then he was also in films like Black Panther as Ulysses Claw, which again is another role that he did very well for supporting role, but it would have been nice to see him in a more leading capacity. Looks like this is going to be a lot more of a prominent role, knowing the role that you have being played by Alfred in The Life of Batman. I'm really hoping that they're able to give him a lot of screen time, give him a lot of lines, because if anyone can do this performance and can really fit the character, almost perfectly, Andy Serkis to me is such a chameleon when it comes to his on-screen presence and his on-screen personas. He can do comedy, he can do serious, he can do pretty much anything that you give him. And so having people like him and Robert Pattinson, who can also do a lot of these different qualities as well, Paul Dano, you have a lot of serious actors in this role. You have a lot of serious actors in this movie. And so I'm hoping that it's going to be able to take the momentum that was set by Joker and be able to really run with it and say, oh, okay, you want serious films featuring comic book characters? We have got you. And as long as they're able to make a good, solid film with great acting in it, great cinematography, and all the other things that Joker had, then I think that Batman will be okay. I think he'll be able to get past some of the issues that a lot of people are having, like the casting of Jeffrey Wright, like the casting of Zoe Kravitz. And I think that it'll be able to surpass those issues if it is indeed made well. Now, my main fear here is that Warner Brothers is going to look at the success of Joker, which is almost at the $1 billion mark. For those wondering, it is almost literally it's about $10 million away at this point. Last update has it at $989 million. So that is just insane. It's amazing. And that means that by Saturday or Sunday of this weekend, it's going to cross the $1 billion mark. And that has me and so many other fans of it really happy. But if they really want to have that kind of success again, then they need to take the film seriously. They cannot try and, the studios at the very least, cannot try and get involved with the project and try and force force agendas and try and force narratives, because if they do, what will end up happening is that you'll have a Terminator Dark Fate situation where you're going to pump in a lot more money behind it, right? So Joker had $55 million. This film had $185 million. I'm imagining that with Batman, you're probably going to get more than the $55 million that it cost for Joker. I could see that film being actually close production before marketing. Production budget could be closer to the $100 million range, especially when you have all of these really high-profile actors. You don't bring in these many actors. You don't bring in these many talented actors and really just say, oh yeah, we're just going to throw very little money at it. It seems to me like they're kind of setting this up to be very expensive for a film that's going to have the feel of it that at least seems to be going to have, which is going to be more focused, hopefully, on Batman being a detective and focusing more of like a detective film noir film. That's what I want. I want something dark and gritty like that, just like Joker was dark and gritty. It'd be really cool to see that happen here with the Batman as well. But I think if you're going to have anyone that's really going to keep the character grounded, Batman grounded, and is going to be able to do it well, Andy Serkis to me is the best person to play that role, which is of course Alfred Pennyworth, and it's fantastic. But yeah, anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that Andy Serkis will be a great Alfred? What are your thoughts about his casting and the other casting? And also Joker. I mean, as I said, these two are intertwined with each other, right? Because Batman, to me, the Batman by Matt Reeves, I think is going to take hopefully a lot of support or a lot of notes from the success of Joker and say, okay, this is what fans want. These are the things that fans will actually go out of their way to see multiple times, to spend their money, right? And obviously it is going to be a money-making game here, but you can have a good film that also makes money. I don't understand why modern-day Hollywood feels like it has to be mutually exclusive, where, no, you either have a good film that makes no money or you have a crappy film that makes a crap ton of money because we're marketing it a hell of a lot more and we're trying to go to that lowest common denominator. Joker shows you that you can make a good, smart film that people will go see. You just got to treat it right. You just got to promote it right. You just got to be able to actually care about what's going on behind the camera and in front of the camera. I'm hoping that's what happens here. I hope they continue that on with the Batman. I think adding Andy Serkis is definitely a great step in that direction, and it seems very likely they're going to do so, because if they do that, then they will see a very similar showing of as Joker, where you'll probably cross the $1 billion range. Probably will make more than Joker, to be honest, if they do it right. Of course, that's a big if at this point in time, because if they don't, you'll end up like Dark Fate, which hasn't even made which barely has made $200 million and is actually now at the point where it might not even cross the $250 million range. And that put its that's not even just a $100 million loss. That's a $150 million loss. That's potential for this movie, because the studios got involved, because they wanted to push a woke message, because they wanted to make Terminator for a new generation. And if they haven't learned this message yet, if you're trying to make something for a new generation, and that's your only and primary motivation behind making the film, audiences are going to overwhelmingly reject it. Make a good movie, people will go see it. Make a bad movie, people will not. So let me know your thoughts about that. And before I end the video, I want to give a shout out to first MVD Visual for sending me, I think they sent this about a week or so ago and have been a little delayed in talking about it. And it is Hitchhike to Hell. It's a new Arrow video release. So again, this is Arrow Video by MVD Visual. So thank you guys so much again for sending this my way. It says, there's no such thing as a free ride. Cult director Irvin Berwick, who did Malibu High and The Monster of Piedras Blancas, takes you on an excursion into death and depravity in the 1977's Hitchhike to Hell, where all roads lead to terror. Well, that sounds amazing. Looks like this film just missed the holiday season, at least for the Halloween season, but it does look pretty damn interesting to me. It's Arrow Video. They always do very good releases for their films. So anyway, if you want to check this out, it's a 2K restoration of the original film, negative, and it's now available on Blu-ray from Arrow Video. Also, something that I got for myself, and it's been something that I've been wanting for a long time, and this is really a thank you to the channel, because it's because of donations to the channel, especially through Streamlabs, that I'm able to buy films or buy sets that I otherwise would not be able to, and that is the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater. I've always loved the first two films. The third film came out not too long ago, about 2 years ago now at this point. 2013. Actually, no, even more than that. Oh my goodness, time has flown by. But what's really cool about these films is it has the same two actors in it, and it follows their story. And every film has been filmed about 7 or 9 years later. So on the first film was in 1995. So yeah, about 9 years each time. So the first film was in 1995. Most of the film is actually ad-lib. So Richard Linklater gave the two, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, gave them both, hey, here's the scene, here's the general concept, go. And they just had this general honest chemistry with each other, and they were able to really pull out these really awesome lines and this awesome dialogue that feels so natural, because it really is. I mean, a lot of the dialogue is directly from them. That's why when you look at the writing credits, they're both given writing credits, because a lot of it really just directly comes from them. You do have some lines that are given by Richard Linklater here, but I think that the fact that a lot of it is them genuinely is fantastic. Also, every 9 years is pretty cool too. So the first one came out in 95, second one 2004, the third one came out in 2013, and it follows these two people who meet in the first film, fall in love, and all of just the different tensions and all of the questions and just so many different aspects to the film itself. And it really is a great trilogy of films. And once this got released, this is of course a Criterion Collection, which is again why I wanted to get it, because it was on sale. And seriously, it is a beautiful series of films. I would say the third film is probably the weakest, but I've only seen it one time, so it's really hard for me to say that. I still just appreciate what it was able to do and how it was able to keep this consistent narrative and this consistent characters, with them actually naturally aging over time. He had that film Boyhood, where he started off and filmed over about a 10-year period or so, and so the kids grew up on camera in real time, which is why it took so long for the film to be made. And even though that film had a lot of issues, I wasn't a huge fan of that film, especially Patricia Arquette was a terrible actress in that film, and yet she got an Oscar and she was, oh my god, amazing, and blah, 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 blah. Pushing her narratives when she won. Her performance, in my opinion, was terrible. It was cringeworthy. It was just, her screaming was nails on a chalkboard. But this, on the other hand, everyone involved is fantastic, so I recommend it. So that's Criterion. Again, this is just bought with my own money, and again, because of your generosity. So thank y'all for that. And then someone sent me a letter, I guess you could say. I'm not really quite sure what it is. It has a lot of stamps on it. For one, it's like covered in stamps. So I'm assuming it's coming from the U.S., like a lot of 1 cent and 10 cent stamps. It's this whole thing. And then the channel name, I am assuming it's a channel name, is Ghost Tank Forever. And they are these hand-drawn, handmade stickers. So I don't really know who this person is. I haven't gotten an email correspondence from this person or anything. And then instead of it being a letter, it's this picture here. And it says, ugh, the BO on this one. And I think it's crapped, it's depends. And it's really nice artwork. So it's a really cool thing, because Ghost Tank Forever, really cool artwork. I have no idea who you are or what this is, but thanks for sending it my way. And of course, as I tell you all, if you ever send me anything, I'll always give you a shout out, because, hey, I appreciate it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about that and all the things we talked about in the comment section below. Like this video, smash that like button, give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.